Quilty is brought to you by
Baby Lock. Baby Lock sewing and long arm machines. From piecing to long arming for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread. Perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Dear Stella. A unique fabric brand with modern style. Fairfield. Together, we can make beautiful things. Hovels Sewing. Cut to the point with Hovels Sewing. Moda. Make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Northcott. Cottons that feel like silk. Omnigrid. Providing quilters with specialty rulers and accessories for over 30 years. Hello out there. You're watching Quilty. Heather Kinion has joined us today. Hey, Heather.
Hey, Mary.
And I love it when you're on the show because you're so knowledgeable and you're so good at making quilts.
Well, thanks. I love it.
And you can teach a lot of things. And you can teach a lot of things. So we are going to have you teach this block along with me just about layout and things, different ways you can make a block. Tell me what we have here.
Yeah, so this block is called Patience Corners. It's old. It's from the 1800s. And this is like the 1890s version of it with the sort of the exterior diamondy points.
There's a new version, right, that you're seeing around?
A new version, which is new, and that it dates to about the 1920s, from what I could tell.
Well,
and it doesn't, I don't understand why they call them the same thing because I can't see the same block in it. I'm sure that somebody else sees it and thought of it as a simpler construction because it's sort of like you take a 4-patch, you cut it apart, put it back together. So it is simpler shapes that you're sewing.
And that's one of the things on today's show is that, you'll could be confused sometimes because you'll see a block that's called one thing and then it's called something else like orange peel or
melon patch,
and you're like, is that a different block? And no, it's the same. Or you'll see two blocks that are totally wildly different that are both called Patience Corners. And so you just have to chill because it's public domain, people change things, people have been quilting a really long time, so these things can morph.
Yes.
But so we looked in the Barbara Brackman book, and we picked this block, and
we thought it looked pretty modern, or we could see it being very contemporary, even though it's a very old pattern.
Totally. So there's a couple different ways to analyze this thing, and a couple different ways to put it together. So let's take a look at those ways.
This first way is the way that I actually put that block together.
Okay. So you've got flying geese here.
Yep, there's 2 flying geese units.
Half square triangles.
4 half square triangles. And
economy
2 economy blocks.
Or square and a square.
Or square and a square.
And here are your
the other half of that.
Let's see, which way does this, does it
go? Goes that
right, the
way.
black goes in?
Yes, there we go.
Because see, when you push it all together, you can see it.
So, so then it goes all together and you get sort of a chevron and a chevron, and a chevron, and a chevron.
Yeah. So that's one way to do it. And the thing is about putting these blocks together, because this isn't from a pattern. You may see it coming up in modern patchwork. There may be a quilt you see sometime that has the pattern for this, but
we just sort of drafted it from looking at it. And this one involved some drafting because you had to figure out the size for the economy blocks, the size for the half square triangles, the size for the flying geese. That's a lot of quilt math and measurements there.
And we have an episode on drafting, so check that out on Quilty. And also, if you're not that great at it, just get help from a buddy. You might be able to help them pick colors for their quilt.
Sure.
That they can't really do so well. They can help you drafting. But the other thing here, I think, Heather, is don't you think it's true that if you are really good at, say, flying geese, if you're really good at them, you'd want to do something that used that?
Yes.
Okay, so let's take a look at another.
So the next one is, say you don't want to figure out that many pieces, you just have to make a half square triangle block. You can make it all out of the same colors and everything, but it's, 16 half square triangles.
Wow.
And you put them all together and they would make this. You could get really scrappy, but essentially, as long as all of these half square triangles are the same size, you've got a Patience corner block. These
amazing.
Can be, I think these finish 2 inches.
Yes.
They could finish 10 inches, and you'd have a whole quilt top. But just by this exact same shape and piece. So this one is, I really like this block. It's maybe more sewing. I'm not sure it actually is more sewing.
I don't think so, because you have to do your flying geese, stitch that. I want to pull this apart so you can really see. Do you see this shape here? Shunk, 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 right, like that, and then here too.
Yes.
Right. Shunk. That's the reds in the middle.
And I actually thought of a pretty simple third way to do this too. Yeah. Actually, while we were here, I didn't see it before, but essentially, each block is 8 flying geese, but they're inverted flying geese. So you've got the dark and the light, and the light and the dark.
That is so cool.
Which again, same exact size flying geese unit across all of them. Just repeat it, and you could assemble this with. You just have to figure out the math of what size your flying goose would be.
I keep making these faces at the camera like, because you're teaching me so much. I mean, you're a font of knowledge. And, you know, that's the thing. If you can make a half square triangle, which if you've watched Quilty for any length of time, you surely can. There's lots of different ways to do those. But yeah, I mean, if you cut them from strips using the Fons and Porter half and quarter ruler, you can like cut a 4.5-inch strip to have a 4-inch finished half square triangle. You've got this block in the bag. And you don't have to mess around with an economy block or a square and a square. You can just do half square, boom, ba-dum, ba-dum.
Yeah, and you could be really scrappy because you just do lights and darks and sort them and pull them and mismatch out of 2 bags and you're set.
Every time we do a show, I'm like, that's my next project. That's what I want to make. And if we have downtime, I'll probably put one of these together. I like doing that on the set. Heather, anything else to say about the Patient's Corners or your experience making it?
No, I mean, since it's such simple units, whether you do the economy block and the flying goose and the half square triangle, or just half square triangles, or even just flying geese, it goes together really simply. It's really just the orientation. When you lay them out, it's a little trickier.
That's what I was going to say, is you got to really step back, and you'll probably sew things wrong.
To make sure the chevron appears.
Yeah, and you'll sew them wrong and have to rip it out. And, that's
and the nice thing is, even when you make the block, you essentially make the same dark chevron 4 times, if you're doing half square triangles, or even at flying geese, and just shift them around.
Mix them up. Heather, thank you. Another great show. We'll see you next time on Quilty. Bye-bye.
Quilty is brought to you by
Baby Lock. Baby Lock sewing and long arm machines, from piecing to long arming for the love of sewing. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Dear Stella, a unique fabric brand with modern style. Fairfield, together we can make beautiful things. Hovels Sewing, cut to the point with Hovels Sewing. Moda, make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Northcott, cottons that feel like silk. Omnigrid, providing quilters with specialty rulers and accessories for over 30 years.